There is a channel which is only spoke about in the debunking community in whispers and in dark corners. That is when the channel is spoken of at all, which is rare, if ever. I have barely mentioned this shining beacon of YouTube on my channel. That is going to change for this video. Welcome to Fantastic Publishing. Ben from Simply Strange. A couple of days ago, I covered a video by Caspersight who was trying to help real investigation channels gain more views. As I usually avoid Simply Strange, like Beardo avoids feet, or Crow avoids lettuce, or Side-Eye avoids crow, I knew he had covered the topic, so I thought, well, maybe I should have a look as to what he said. I thought, well, I can torture myself for a few minutes. His videos never very long, and he's usually speaking at the speed a racing driver would be jealous of. I suffered. I did. And now it's your turn, because if I can watch Seg react to Mackie and Amanda multiple times, you can watch this one and hopefully only video I'll do on Simply Strange.
And basically what it is a call out to all paranormal YouTube channels, real and fake, debunkers, all the rest of it, right? Basically saying, you know, what do you think of this message?
A debunker message calling out the fakers. Yeah, well, Ben's an expert in what that sounds like. No, it was a call out to real investigation channels, which you're about to point out.
Video starts out as a show of support for legit paranormal channels. So Caspersight wants to promote smaller, authentic paranormal investigative channels that don't fake content, as they often get fewer views compared to the sensationalized channels despite their genuine efforts. And this is obviously a sentiment that has been, you know, expressed by multiple debunkers. I know Beardo's covered this as well. I know that Mr. Gray's covered it. I know that, well, pretty much every debunker has the same kind of...
Couldn't name any more debunkers off the top of your head, huh? Even though you've covered several on your own channel. So good to see somebody unfamiliar with the community sharing his expertise.
People get overshadowed by the likes of your over-sensationalized paranormal YouTube channels who have the highly explosive, high editing, high octane energy and tend to capture something every single time they go out.
Sounds familiar, except you stayed at home to do it.
You know, there is an argument to be made that there is a space for legit paranormal channels, the likes of the Ouija.
An argument to be made? It's so good to know that the legitimate paranormal channels, the real investigators, have a space so they can take the research into the community with honesty and integrity. I know, crazy, right? Thanks for allowing this. But just as a bit of info, there are roughly 2.5 million videos uploaded to YouTube every day. I think YouTube has space for a few legitimate... investigation channels. I think they can squeeze them in.
You know, there is a very, very blueprint kind of formula. This is the ancient Ram Inn. Someone died here ages ago, and this is who we're going to be calling out to today. And there's demons, stories, and reports of exorcisms that took place. It's the same. It builds up a narrative, builds up suspense, and it's like this whole idea of like this, you know, suspense building. It's narrative telling, but unfortunately, that has become the blueprint for paranormal videos. It's like, if you don't do it this way, then you're not doing a very good job.
There it is again, that word blueprint. Caspersight said the same thing. It's what fake channels do. It's what fake channels do. They have their blueprint. Instant activity as soon as they enter a building or a location. Clickbait thumbnails. The night I almost died, I got scratched by a demon. scariest night of our lives. Apps driving the narrative forward, and that's even before the faking starts. I know, history and backstory have nothing to do with the paranormal. Just go in, guys, wave a camera around and leave. You know? Oh, look, there's the beginning, middle, and end we were searching for. Go in, wave the camera around, leave. Narrative structure, bing, bam, boom, done. Who knew it would be that easy? And I've never heard anyone, genuinely never heard anybody say they don't want to hear the backstory or the research or the history of a location. A backstory isn't always relevant, so it isn't needed. And some teams like to go in not knowing the backstory, so they're not influenced, but they will research later and check facts. They'll check history. They'll get evidence to back up whatever happened or didn't happen in their investigation. But what's failing to be recognised here is those people who are investigating the history and the surrounding folklore and word of mouth stories and local records is these teams who use the backstory also research and investigate the story's legitimacy. It's part of the process, an important part of that.
And then Caspersight makes a very interesting turn in the video and calls for creativity. So he urges content creators to treat their videos like movies, with a clear beginning, middle, and end, incorporating storytelling elements like build-up, anticipation, and satisfying conclusions to make the video more compelling without faking content. Now, if there's one thing that I will say about that, it's that's... If you're going to do that without faking content, obviously that's going to become, like, to get the quote-unquote satisfying ending is never guaranteed. You can give as much build up as you want, but if you don't capture that thing that you're building up to, then ultimately you're going to leave viewers kind of unsatisfied because, you know, yes, you might get the retention of building up the video, building up the narrative, and then where's the...
At least he recognises the potential problems in calling it a movie, and this is the most common comment I've heard from people regarding Ben's original video, Caspersight's original video. Maybe use the word cinematic instead. A cinematic approach, a visual approach to the way that you actually film your video, commonly used by Joe Vitale and Matt Benton, people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I actually love it when any video becomes cinematic and has that high quality to it. But it's not essential, but it's something I do personally enjoy. The problem with the word movie is it conjures up popcorn and fiction, not serious paranormal content.
At place, all right? It's hard, and I respect the people that do go out and do it on an authentic basis, because that's a tricky thing to do. Let's not beat around the bush here. The fake paranormal content has led the genre for ages, right?
Yeah, money, views, subs, TikTok. That plaque behind you is for your Laney and Ben channel. Just saying.
Even on television as well, right? You got the likes of Ghost Adventures, for example. Highly engaging episodes. 45 minutes, you're gripped because of the narrative, because of the storytelling, because of there is the payoff that you're promised within the episode.
Wait, Ghost Adventures are fake? Where have I been? I need to keep up better. Look, I'm all for the real paranormal community and debunking community being covered by channels on the outside. I am. And I said this in the video for Caspersight as well. Every little mention is potential for growth. But Caspersight is hurtling towards 1 million subs, which is great. I'm very happy for Ben. I really am. but he's heading towards 1 million subs based on jump scare reactions, which is why I started watching him in the first place 5 years ago. Simply Strange is well known to the debunking community. Obviously, if you're watching this, decent chance you know the history. And while both of them have made legitimate comments, especially Caspersight, the misinterpretation of what a real investigation is, what it requires, and who the audience are, is evident from both to one extent or another. There are plenty of fake channels out there with low subs and not very many views. But because there's a handful of large, huge channels that dominate the algorithm with their noise, their theatrics, this is overlooked. It probably makes it look as though there are more huge channels than there are. And it's because they are so, Sam and Colby have over 12 million subscribers. So they're going to be the most well-known. They're going to be the ones that are really getting the attention. So you've got Caspersight about to hit 1 million views. Simply Strange got his YouTube plaque by faking the paranormal. Think about that for a moment. And yes, I know he said sorry. Kind of, in my opinion. But honestly, why else would you fake the paranormal? You fake the paranormal to get the clicks and views. I mean, that's part of the point that the debunking community put across. Every channel wants subs and views. Whatever they say, every channel does. They might not want millions or even thousands or even hundreds, but they're not going to upload to YouTube if they don't want somebody to watch their content. It's what YouTube is. But the thing about the real investigation channels, I would say 99% of them at least, if not all of them, they also want answers. They're going out there to try and prove the paranormal. And yes, some of them are doing really well. And that's great to see. It's great to see Ouija Brothers over 100,000 subs. I mean, for a real investigation channel, that's amazing. You've got other channels, Ghosts on Trent and Real Evidence and Adelaide Haunted Horizons. I said all this in the Caspersight video, that are, they're getting thousands of subs, and that's hope for the future. But people aren't going to get thousands and thousands of subs straight away. This is a work in progress. But what is at the center of that work in progress is investigating the paranormal. And if you are going out as a legitimate investigation channel, it is of the utmost importance to you that you're taken seriously, that you're believed to be legitimate, and you're not doing it for clicks and views. Would I like to see more creativity and different techniques? Yes. And I'm probably going to do a separate video on that. It's why, for example, I'm pushing APRF investigations. It's why I hired them to Crow, and Crow did the reaction video to them. He had them on his live stream to promote them, because they're doing something a little bit different. And their videos, they do maintain the pace in their videos, and they're atmospheric, but as well as using techniques that not everybody uses. That's why I'm pushing them so hard. But doesn't mean there's anything wrong with what anybody else is doing. It would just be nice to see some development in the real investigations, but not by making it into a movie. Not by jump scares and big finishes and all that. It needs to be done in a way that those who are genuinely interested in the real paranormal, which for the most part aren't the ones who are watching the jump scares and the dude bro demon channels. What we need to do is find more people who are interested in the real paranormal, to come into the community to join in what's happening. And at the end of the day, all the theatrics, all of the cinematics, even all of the creativity, that helps to highlight the real paranormal. But at the end of the day, it's the content that matters, not the circus.